evening and welcome. This is Strong and Sassy on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Inimwa Inimado and I'm going to be in your ears for the next 1 hour or so. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know you could be anywhere else, but as usual, Wednesday evenings, you choose to be here with me, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you. Promise to give you a really great show today. So today I'm going to do something different. Usually I'll tell you what we're talking about, and then I'll tell you who we're talking to. But today, I'm going to tell you who we're talking to, and then maybe you can guess what we're talking about. As usual, we're live and interactive. Our WhatsApp lines are open, 055 1111 997. Okay, so my first guest is Claudia Kwarting Lumo. She's an astute figure in the creative space and has carved an enviable portfolio in the business and corporate field, making her one of the most recognized personalities on the continent. So some of our really favorite things about Claudia include that she's been part of the British Council Fashion and Design program, where she was named Young Creative Entrepreneur of the Year. She is one of the 40 most inspirational female leaders in Ghana, top 40 under 40 business leaders in Ghana, top 50 young entrepreneurs in Ghana, 100 most influential women in Ghana, the most influential young Ghanaian, most inspirational women in Ghana, most powerful players in Africa, and fashion in the UK as well. And this is just to mention a few of the things that she has achieved. She's a mother and a firm believer in the growth and development of her country. She was also my senior in KNUST, and I used to be very afraid of her. So that's Claudia. Hello, Claudia. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Hi, Anymore.
It's so good to have you. I'm not sure why you're laughing.
Afraid of me.
Oh, yeah.
Too serious, Claudia. Everyone is running around.
Exactly. And then also, and Claudia has been on Strong and Sassy a couple of times on Zoom, haven't you?
Yeah, I think
phone.
during the COVID season.
Yes,
I was on Zoom.
Yes,
Yeah,
but not in person.
No,
not in person. So it's really great that you're here tonight.
Yeah, I'm privileged.
And also for the first time on Strong and Sassy, Shika Goka also joining us. She's an etiquette coach, hospitality consultant, CEO of Principal Consultant and SG Etiquette Consulting Limited. So Shika has more than a decade of experience in the banking sector. She's done retail banking, mortgage services, and she was a branch manager with Barclays Bank in the UA and also head of customer services with Fidelity Bank. She's worked in finance and administration. Her passion has led her to do so many amazing things, including Global Emerging Pathogens Treatment Consortium, and they deal with early detection treatment of the really scary stuff like Ebola. During that time, she was head of fundraising, and she does so much. She has so much experience, and that's Shika Goka for you. So now I'll tell you what we're talking about after you've heard the incredible profile of the women that we have. So this evening, we're talking about, in a man's world, how does a woman rise? How did you rise? Basically, that's the question on the table. So let me start with you, Claudia.
Okay.
Did you always know that you wanted to be all of this?
No, that's a big no. All of this in terms of what I've achieved and what I'm doing, right? No, because I started in corporate in the UK, and I came to Ghana and I was in corporate as well. And then somehow I landed in what I'm doing, which is, being a publisher, starting with a magazine, and then doing events, and then doing all the things that I was doing. No.
So no.
Yeah, yeah. But then as you go along and as you build what you build, and you find yourself doing different things, you find yourself in different things that you're passionate about. You find yourself, you learn more about yourself, what you are capable of doing. There's so many things that I do know I can tolerate and I can do them or I can stand them. That through this journey of mine in the last 11 years in Ghana, I've learned that about myself. I've grown as a woman, and I am here.
Okay. So, Shika, I'll pretty much ask you the same question, because you've achieved so much as well, been so many, worn so many different hats. Did you know?
Well, no, the same with Claudia. I think, you come out of university and you're still searching yourself. And I think what going into the corporate world does for you, it gives you a really good foundation of discipline. You learn how to cope in a very unfamiliar background. Banking gives you a very sort of strict understanding of what goes on, because you're dealing with other people's money essentially, and you learn quite early there that no one person originates or finishes a transaction. It must change hands for this reason. So you get used to doing things in a particular fashion, and you get used to doing things with lots of checks and balances, and that only allows you to grow, because with that they're very detailed ways of actually assessing your development as well, and that sort of starts to tease out where you are strong and maybe where you're a little bit weak. It starts to push you into particular roles of leadership and management and things like that, giving you more responsibility. And with that, you sort of grow and you realize that, actually I can handle this, or I quite like this aspect of things, and how can I use some of the skills that I've developed in other ways as well. So with that, everything that I have done along the way has sort of, like Claudia, developed me as an individual, as a woman, as a manager, as a leader, and allowed me to bring on all of these experiences to where I am today, following my actual passion, which is to teach people and train them in etiquette practices.
Yeah. What's interesting is that both of you kind of started from the corporate, and then you've kind of gone out into other things. So like you said, the corporate kind of prepares you for that. There's something about Barack Obama that he said, and it's one of my absolute favorite things. He said he never planned on being president. It was kind of just one thing, and then by saying, now I'm this, I'm that, and then okay, White House, okay, why not? Let me do that. So the question is, in this world where the men will say they don't dominate it, but I think we can agree that they do. So in this world where it's like that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, I mean, it is what it is, but in this world that it's like that, how do you start to prepare for the days ahead where there will be that place where you have to exit? You have to show that. Olivia Pope, Kerry Washington in Scandal says we have to be twice as work twice as hard to be half as good, or to be seen as half as good. So how do you, for those of us who are listening and coming into, how do we start to prepare towards that?
I think number one, as a woman, as you rightly said, we always have to do twice the job, and we always underestimate ourselves as women. We underquote ourselves. We go into roles and we always, request for less, even though we're fantastic at what we do. Men are bold, you're confident. They might ask for 3 times the value, their actual value, and maybe might deliver less than the woman will actually do. But we go in asking for less, but then we put in 100% or even more. And I'm not saying in all situations, but it's just sort of like the natural thing that a woman will just settle for something lower. So I would say that this has been my journey as a woman being an entrepreneur, always pitching in boardrooms. I want to walk into a room and I don't want the first thing they see is a pretty face. I always say, and I mentor a lot of women and I mentor a lot of young people, and I say, when you walk into a room or when I walk into a boardroom to pitch something, I see a person. I am not here as a woman, and I don't look at myself as a woman sitting here with maybe 10 other men. And I always make sure that I go there. My purpose and my focus is to deliver, is to make sure that I'm coming out of the room, and when I go out of the room, they will not say, oh, she was a very beautiful woman. Oh, she was wearing something great. I want to leave that room and leave them with an impression that say that, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. That was great delivery. That was the way she spoke, the way she stood there, and the way she answered that question. So I'm very much aware care of myself when I'm in a space like that. How going in, making sure that you've done your research, you know where you're going, you have the right answers for them. If you don't have the right answers, don't, just be upfront with it. You have to go and get back to them on these things. So just being a true reflection of yourself. And every time I say that, every time a door opens for me and I'm in front of people, I say to myself that I'm not just for Claudia. I am there for other women that may walk through this door. So I must leave an impression here that it will allow another woman to, easy for another woman when they come here to stand here. Because if I go in and I'm going in and thinking, yeah, that's another woman, the way their last lady spoke and all of that. So you're leaving, a bad lasting impression on them. So when you're there, when you're a woman, there's responsibility on us as the female leaders. There's responsibility on us as those who are walking through the door. So for me, just being confident but not cocky, just being respectful, being humble in your approach, but also making sure you're delivering. I mean, that's the most important thing. Just make sure that, and how you put yourself together and how you dress. Because I don't want to walk into a room, and I tell women this: you may have the best legs in this world, but then when you walk into a room, the first thing I say, I don't want to see your great legs. I want to see, a smart woman walking through a door. So whatever you think now, that's my
okay.
Accent.
Wait.
Yeah, so rewind.
Wait.
The conversation is getting deep.
No, I get what you're saying, but this is what you said. You said, I don't want to see that you have great legs. I want to see a smart woman walking through the door.
Yeah.
What does a smart woman walking through the door look like? Yeah, do you get what I mean?
No.
Like, what?
Well, even how
Shika,
you
please
walk.
feel free to interact at any time.
I'll tell you what. If you are in a business world, and you sat in meetings and you sat in board meetings, if you walked in, when a woman is, and it's not just a woman, when a person walks through a door and the person is, you people make a decision, who you are, and just like seconds. So when you walk through the door, I see you. I've made a decision whether I think I want to pay attention to you. Yeah. I think you're going to be great. I think you're going to be an interesting person to listen to. So all of that come in the way you walk into the door, you approach, your facial expression, everything comes to it. Yeah. So don't come to me asking to be a general manager and in the shortest of dresses. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? So that's all of these things I want people to be mindful of it. Make sure that your hair is laid nicely. You're not coming in with like a blue hair when you're expecting me to hire you. You are not here to be head of music video. Do you get what I mean? So depending on where you're going, I'm sorry. Depending on where you're going, if you're going into a bank, it's about trust. So you need to walk in as somebody that look like somebody I can trust you with money. So all of these things people just need to be mindful of.
Love that. Love that. So Shika, let me come to you, because you are the presentations person. How we look, how we so just like I was asking Claudia, what first impressions? What are the key things?
So I mean, you've already hit the nail on the head and said that first impressions are made instantly. Whether we like it or not, we like to pretend that we don't care what people think, or we don't care to be judged by other people's opinions. But the fact is, there are times when your future, your livelihood, you getting a loan, you getting funding for a project is literally based on somebody else's opinion of you. And, you do have to show up appropriately. So, like Claudia said, there's a professional way to turn up to either an interview, a pitch, anything like that. And you've got to be mindful about what you're wearing. But there is something called power dressing as well, which she's also spoken about. It's that outfit that you put on when you realize that when you wear this outfit, you feel strong, you feel empowered, you feel confident, and therefore you are ready to face whatever challenges that may be thrown at you. You can dress the part, but you've also got to be prepared, beforehand. You've got to have done your research. You've got to know about the business that you're entering. You've got to know about the product that you are selling, or whatever it is that you are creating this audience for, so that you are prepared for whatever questions may come at you, and you can think about any fallback plan as well. All of these things will have an impact on how you turn up. So, because she's going for something, her goal is that whatever it is, she's going to win at the end of it, and people are going to be impacted by her presence. So the mental preparation is already there. She's thought about everything, and that's the way that we also need to approach things. Now, you cannot have a certain amount of confidence if you don't know your stuff. You can't just sort of blag it. Some people are really good salespeople. They can sell, what do they call ice to the Eskimo. But when it comes down to it, you have to be able to deliver as well. So, you can blag as much as you want. You can bamboozle people, but you've got to also have substance at the end of the day, because, people can tell when you're not authentic. They can tell when you don't really know your stuff. And eventually you're going to let people down as well as yourself, and then you lose credibility along the way. So yes, confidence, thinking about the way that you're going to dress, and even little things like making sure that you're there on time. There's nothing worse than feeling flustered or feeling like, oh my gosh, you're going to be late. What kind of impression is this going to set? Come there with good enough time to be able to settle your mind, start talking to yourself, and make sure that you're rehearsing all of the key points that you want to come and express when you do have people's attention and you have the audience that you want, because sometimes you won't get another opportunity. First impressions are extremely important, and you can lose people instantly. And the fact is, if you're not dressed appropriately, no one's going to take you seriously. If you look like you've got too much on display, people will look all right, but eventually they'll be like, this person surely can't be serious. They're going to go to the person that looks the part, that has prepared, and actually sounds genuine, that actually sounds like they know their stuff as well. So
wow, okay. So Claudia, let's talk about the looking the part a little bit. So just kind of run us through the different scenarios. So let's say interviews, or let's say wanting something, pitching something, or let's say a casual lunch but with maybe your bosses, or let's say you're going somewhere and you want to be noticed. How do you differentiate? And then when is it okay to be sexy, and when should you not be sexy?
Okay, so I think sexy to me is not showing like skin. For me, when I think sexy, it's not. I actually find people who show all of that. I'm trying not to use the word I want to use on air, but that's not sexy for me at all. And as a woman, if I cringe when I see you, imagine what men will look at, And if you need to understand your body, that God gave to you, or wherever you got it from. You need to understand your body and how to dress to suit the body that you have. I always say that the fact that something looked great on Claudia doesn't mean it's going to look great on you, or the fact that Enimwa look amazing on what she's wearing doesn't mean it's going to look well on me. So you need to understand your body, number one, and know what to wear, the colors that works for you, the pattern that works for you. I understand there's not everybody that
sounds like a lot of work.
It's not a lot of work. It's just that people take it too serious. Just enjoy it. Just know yourself and what makes you comfortable. Even my little daughter that's just 10 and 10 will tell me that mom, it's about being comfortable in my clothes. And she started telling me that when she was 7. Wow. So I think just being comfortable, because when you're comfortable, you're confident. You're not so much aware seeing where the skirt is popping, because it's so tight, you're looking whether it's popping or it's not popping or whatever. My style, everybody that knows me, my style is very much blazers with jeans and skirts. And even when I was young, I never liked short dresses. It's never been my style, because also everybody is different. People can look classy in shorter dress depending on their body type, but the same short dress that somebody is wearing with a blazer that look classy on them, for a certain type of body, it might not look classy. So I think understanding your body is the number one, and just seeing the colors and for the right places. Because if I'm going to like a board meeting, I'm having a very serious meeting, I don't want to be going with very bright colors. I mean, naturally I like very toned down colors. It's my personality anyway. I like to wear very earthy colors. I wear a lot of blacks, light blues and things like that. I'm not very much of a pop like purple, like pink. It's not really me. You won't see me in there. But some people know how to dress with those colors and still make it look very subtle and nice. So understand where you're going is number one. The people you're going to meet. My thing is, do not take the attention from the subject, and you should not be the attention. Okay. The moment you and what you're dressing and your shoe and your nail, your nails, like you have all this stats and design. It's don't make yourself the distraction. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. For me, that's it. Whatever you're going to discuss is the priority, is the most important thing. you want to get, pitch something for a loan. You want to go there and get a job. You want to get there, you're going to impact other people. Depending on where you're going, that is the most important thing. And the moment you become the subject, or the moment that you become the distraction, I'm here, look at me, then you've lost focus.
But there are also moments like that, right? There are moments when it's okay to do the, oh la la, here I am, this is me.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to get. And for instance, if they are casting you to be used for a billboard, or they are casting you to be the person to use for a commercial, then But even that, what kind of commercial you've been pitched for? If you're being pitched for a bank commercial, then you have to go on to But if you're being pitched for a party drink, of course, maybe depending on So just people be mindful of all of that.
But I generally believe as well that sexiness is something like that happens within. It's a feeling, it's an energy that sometimes that you give off. You can literally be 100% covered from head to toe, like a lot of Middle Eastern women are, but there's something, about them, and sometimes it's even your behavior, it's not overtly flirtatious or anything vulgar like that, but it's an inner confidence that you have. And sometimes you can walk into a room and somebody, like Claudia said, could be half dressed, but then everybody's attention would be on an imwa, because an imwa is giving everybody else attention. Do you know what I mean? She's inquiring about everybody else. She's looking at them in the eye when she's speaking to them. She's engaging people. She's showing interest in other people, and that in itself is an attractive thing. So you have that inner peace, and people, they're attracted to nice people. They're attracted to people with really lovely personalities, and that's the thing. Like, nobody likes an attention seeker necessarily, but you don't sometimes, even if you are somebody that commands a lot of respect when you walk in a room, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are dressed, in tight or short or overly revealing outfits. Sometimes it's just because of the way that you carry yourself. I have a friend that said it doesn't matter if she walks in a room with 10 other women who are absolutely gorgeous. She thinks of that she thinks she is a gorgeous person herself. So she walks in with confidence, and she walks into places knowing that her purpose is to network. Her purpose is to have a good time. Her purpose is to, meet somebody new. And she's going to make the most out of every sort of engagement that she has, because she's a positive thinking person. And somebody like that, honestly, she makes friends very, very easily. And there's a sexiness to that without her wearing revealing clothes and things like that. But she's just a confident person that is good at bringing the best out in other people,
Wow, I'm enjoying the conversation. So I wish I was the one who wasn't asking questions. Okay, so coming back to you, Claudia, a lot of times when we're talking about succeeding in the world, it's almost as if you have to be more masculine. Do we have to be more masculine? I mean, if yes, then okay, why? And if no, and we can be feminine, then how do we channel that femininity in such a way that it does us more good than bad?
So there's so many different paths to this, and I've been talking from my own experience, because I've been called a lot of things, like the Margaret Thatcher, the
Magna Thatcher,
Margaret Thatcher,
Margaret Thatcher, Iron Lady,
Iron Lady. Actually, people have used that word as well. So I've been called all sorts, and that's basically because you are seen as a woman that you're tough. You're seen as somebody that's very straight with her decision making and all of that. So if a man is doing it, it's good, it's okay. But when the woman is doing it, you're seen as the, call all sort of names. So I look at this as a different things. You don't need to, so to say, like act like a man or anything like that to make it in this, in this world. I always say that the fact that you're a woman in itself is powerful in itself. Is how you understand it, and it's how you use it. But I also don't go into or build my business or went through this life so far with business looking at myself as just a woman. I just look at myself as a person, and I don't if anything, being a woman has to be a compliment for me. But then what I don't want, and I make sure that I don't want, and it's not really something I've paid attention, is for somebody in business to look at me, oh, she's doing that because she's a woman. That's not something that I want to be associated. So it's okay for you to be feminine. It's okay to dress the way nicely as your woman. Feel beautiful, feel confident, feel sexy, do everything. But then the most important thing is not going to work claiming the woman's card. That's my thing. I want women to have the mindset that, of course, I'm a woman, I'm strong, I can do what I do, but I also want us to try not to match up or rub shoulders with men, because then that's, for me, what are we trying to do? I'm not a man. I'm not going to force to be the man in this office, but then contribute, do what you have to do, yourself. What's the thing as well? In business or in making decisions and everything, and even hiring people. I have a lot of MD friends who tell me that they're women that takes off days from work because because they're on period. They had a period. There are things that associated with women that naturally. That's what we are women. We have to go through this. But I don't really. There are women who genuinely have issues like that, and when they're having
if you
struggle,
have endometriosis,
yes,
for example,
there's nothing you can do. But then when I keep hearing these things, and I always feel like, we are in this world that we are asking for equity. Do you understand? We are asking for equity and we're asking for equality.
We didn't choose to have a cycle. We didn't choose to have pre-PMS and all of that. So why can't we get a couple of days off?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
It's me that's birthing out your big-headed babies, and then you say I should, be at work.
Well, apparently in Spain, it's been made part of their constitution that if you are somebody who suffers from really bad menstrual cramps and all those sort of things, you can actually work from home for those 2 days. Oh. It's actually a thing that's recognized, because that actually is equity as opposed to equality.
Yeah.
Exactly. Give me the tools that I need to be able to work in the same environment, but understand that what my requirements are different from yours,
Especially if I can make up the time.
Exactly.
Because,
and we're extremely efficient.
Survive period pain.
Or anything else.
But I think what we shouldn't miss, we should add to it is, we understand all of that, but also I hope that I don't want women to use that. Because then people always in the office, there are certain positions that naturally you're supposed to go to, and then they'll say, oh, that's another woman has always taken this thing off. So for me as a woman, that's my pain. You understand? And when I was pregnant, I'll be working till I'm, but maybe I'm one of the lucky ones who never really had problems with pregnancy. And I don't want anybody to attach me because she's pregnant, but also it's because of my mind, because I hate that word, somebody saying because I'm a woman. So I try, and everything I want to do, I want to do my best. I don't want anybody to use my femininity as something to tell me that I can't perform. And for that reason, you toughen up as a woman. You toughen up as an entrepreneur, because I'm going to places that I'm fighting for the same budget with men. So I cannot afford to say that, okay, because I've just had a baby and I'm on maternity. I had a C-section, and right after my C-section, hours later, I was finishing my proposal and I was on Zoom pitching in a hospital, because nobody is going to say, because she's in a hospital, now let's give her 1 month, 2 months before she come back and pitch.
But we should also be careful, because femininity and strength are not mutually exclusive. The presence of one does not mean the absence of the other. You've said you've proven that in your strong ways, pushing out a baby, cesarean, whatever it is, and getting exactly. So you talked about the fact that you can see that maybe in her journey, and like lots of other women's journeys, they've had to probably show a little more aggression to get their voices heard in the boardroom, to make sure. And I would always say that the first thing is actually just to turn up in the first place, because if you also don't turn up, you don't even get the opportunity to let your voice be heard and for people to see what you're doing. And then sometimes, you know, we probably will have to bend over a little bit more and do extra things to get visibility as well, you know. Whether it's volunteering and making sure that we're networking within the complete organization so that other senior managers, leaders also know about us and our capabilities, you know, and see that we're able to do this and that, so that when a conversation comes up, they can say, actually, what about that young lady in this department? She did this the other week. Why not invite her and just get her opinion as well? When you're also at a table and you're asked a question, you know, like Claudia said, sometimes we'll shy away. We may not necessarily want to speak up, but then we have to, because then that's our opportunity to show what value we add and all the things that we also know that are equal to the men, and probably even more. So, you know, I think we have a responsibility to ourselves not to overly go with the aggression. Do you know what I mean? Just to tame it down, just be our normal selves and not always feel the need to fight, but let our work and our actions and our presence speak for itself. Let us continue to build up on our CV and, you know, our engagements and whatever it is that we're doing within that company or the organization, and be building on that year in, year out, or month in, a month out, or even project to project, to show that we are just as capable. And when the time comes, those positions will come. Because look, you look around and you see, you know, even people like my own sister, you know, CEO of the GCX, and Abuneo Sepoku, ABSA, you know, managing director. There is nothing overly aggressive about either of those women. Do you know what I mean? They're family women as well. You know, they have children, but you know, their reputations precede them. At every single juncture, they have been rising and they have been doing what they need to do, and they've been turning up. And at the right time, they get into those positions. And now they are there. Trust me, nobody ever talks down to them. Do you know what I mean? Their voices are valuable. They say things and people run with their ideas because they've got a proven track record. And so it goes to show it is possible. They're not, those women couldn't be more feminine than other women I know. You know, there's nothing particularly harsh or butch about them. You never hear people saying, oh, they were really nasty, or they're aggressive, or they're too masculine, or anything like that. They're just living their truth. But what they have just done is been consistent every single step of the way. So you see, it is possible, because personalities like that, you know, you will get far. And definitely having a strong drive, being ambitious, having self-belief, all of those things will take you to the next level.
To that level. I've noticed something, Claudia. People have learned the art of making themselves look very important. And in our side of the world, it seems to be working. Because you may see people, I think maybe men more, maybe, who have a lot of visibility. You know, they are coming into places and they are coming with 6 people walking with them. And, you know, they talk about themselves in, like, you know, maybe the
third person. And
they are very important. But you don't know what they are important for. But they are gaining, I've been watching it, I don't want to mention names, I've been watching it, and they are gaining some sort of traction, some sort of influence, and you're asking, like, what am I missing? So this is my question. Is there a fine art of representing yourself, like big upping yourself in a way so that I know you understand the question.
I do.
And the second one, before you answer, the second one is, how do you do it without seeming, you know, too much? And then must it be done? Because also on the flip side, you have noticed that there are people who are fantastic, but they don't talk about themselves. They're humble. They're not looking for the spotlight. So it's like you have to put yourself. You have to sell.
Yes, you have to sell yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Do you get the question?
I totally understand.
I do. But I was saying that bigging yourself, as you put it, how long are you going to be able to do that?
Some
for?
people have done it for
wow, God, that must be tiring.
Yeah.
And I mean, is that sustainable? Like, can you consistently, you know, be doing that? And one thing that we should understand is people can see through things. You know, people can see through people who are just trying to talk big. People are not dumb. People are not, maybe today you might get away with it, but by the second, the third time, they will see through what you're trying to do. So I genuinely believe that just be yourself. People remember the little things that people do, the little things that, I tell you what, I have offices that I go to, and when I enter, the security people and even the cleaners say, oh, madam, we've not seen you in a couple of days. And it's just because maybe every time you greet them, you say, this happened to me even in hotels, that I park my car and I'm edging that, oh, madam, hello, we've not seen it. And they genuinely, they're genuinely happy that you've not. And I always correct people as well as I go, and I find a nice way of correcting people. Even today, I went to a hotel for a meeting, and the security girl came to me and said, madam, and with his boss, that they want to thank me. The other time I corrected the lady because she asked me that, how can I help you at the gate? And I said, you shouldn't say, how can you help people? You get what I mean? Because people don't like to hear the word help. This is a very reputable restaurant and hotel. When you walk, because she's directing the cars and parking them, so just park the person and say, thank you for coming, please, that's the reception. Because there's a reception inside who's supposed to assist people. So don't take that job upon yourself.
But she's trying to
but now she understood what, because it's better to say, but the word help, because at that level of people don't want to hear help. You can't help me, so, but they don't know. You understand? They don't know. So nicely talking to her. Today she brought her manager. When I got there, this is the woman, and we were really thankful. So I think it's just how you treat people, how you engage with people, how you speak to people. All of these things make you the person that you say you are. Because if you're faking it, or if you're trying to big up your own self, now at the pabene on obiton and the tree in the at the panton or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Like if you're good as you say you're good, people will notice it. People will see through the work that you do, through your execution, through the way you approach life, through the way you relate to people, through the results that you're given. People will see it. And I don't mind, there are people that their personality, they're really reserved, but they're really good. But you know what? Keep doing what you're doing, because you will be noticed. The time will come that they cannot ignore you anymore.
Yes,
you cannot, nobody can ignore you. We all go through that. For me, recognition doesn't mean anything to me. I tell you what, because I'm so confident in who I am. I'm very...
Even if nobody saw you.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't, nothing really, for me, I don't need you to tell me that, Claudia, you're doing amazing or whatever. It doesn't do anything to me, because I'm the most toughest person on myself, because I always feel like I can give more, I can do more, I can be better than this. So I'm rather looking for people who will tell me how I can be better than people giving me good compliments. So I mean, all of these things come into play. I believe you can't continuously fake it. You can have 6 people following you, but I mean, even the people around you cannot wait to get rid of you.
I feel like that. I'd love to know what you think on this, but we're going to take a quick message from our friends. When we come back, Shika will be telling us how to put ourselves out there in a nice way, promote self-promotion in a nice way. Stay tuned in.
Grace Chorale International, on the occasion of their 10th anniversary, presents a night of classical and operatic music featuring Ghana's premier opera group, Lumina, the award-winning South African opera singer Maestro Kagujelo, and the renowned Accra Chamber Orchestra. Date 25th November 2023. Venue, the Accra International Conference Center, 6 p.m. sharp. Tickets are being sold on all Ego Tickets platforms online, the front decks of Joy FM, Airport Shell, and Christ the King Catholic Church. 200 Ghana cedis for VIP and 100 Ghana cedis for regular. For bulk tickets and reservations, call 020-738-0866. An experience of a night of classical bliss awaits you. Proceeds of the event will be used to support the Leukemia Foundation and the Incarcerated Youth Correctional Center Foundation. It's Grace Chorale International at 10. See you there.
Prepare for an exhilarating experience at the main fair of the 2023 EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Join us at the Accra International Conference Center from Thursday, November 23rd to Sunday, November 26th, 2023. Doors will be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day to welcome you. This year, we are diving into the theme of home ownership, exploring the nuances between affordability, comfort, and luxury. Whether you're embarking on your home ownership journey or looking for upgrades, this fair is your destination for all things housing. Encounter a comprehensive assembly of stakeholders from Ghana's housing and construction sectors. Engage the experts across the spectrum of home creation and enhancement. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats. Rent to own. And sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Constructions Limited, where quality meets value. Global Lighting, your solution to quality lighting. Syntex Tank, Air Strong, Air Tough. Springfield Estates, where dreams are built. Virtual Security, complete security solution. DBS, your roof experts. Virtual InfoSec Africa, security solutions by design. Saint Gobain, making the world a better plan. Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investments. The Kissington Heights, Airport City, Kumasi, by HDG Homes Limited.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Park Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Park Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Park Games. More moolah, more power.
Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Who run the world? Girls. 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 Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run the world? Who run the world?
I don't think anyone has answered that question, probably as well as Beyonce herself when she asked who runs the world, and then she answered, I'm not sure if you agree. And we're still interactive, 05511119997. I got a question. This lady says she was denied a well-paying job because she had a leg chain on, and what has a leg chain got to do with acquiring a job? I used to ask questions like that as well when I was younger, but I'll let either Shika or Claudia answer that in a second. But I wanted, Shika, your take. Oh, by the way, welcome back. This is Strong and Sassy on Joy 99.7. My name is Enimo. I'm sitting down with Claudia and Shika, and we're having a conversation on women rising in this world. So so what was your take on?
You know, I mean, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question because honestly, I'm so not into that kind of like self-promotion. I find it really cringy. As an individual, I even find managing even my social media account difficult because the idea that I have to pay attention to it and, you know, have to upload things, it's something that I battle with almost every single day, you know. But I think that when it comes to your reputation, it's always better to hear from others about who you are. You know, it carries so much more weight when somebody says, oh, you know, I met Claudia the other day, and then, well, you know, fantastic lady, she's so insightful, she knows so much about this, I'd love to make a connection with her again. Then you going around saying, do you know who I am? And all of this, it just doesn't correlate, you know. And the fact is, if you can pay so much time on going around and branding this image of yourself as the be all and end all of most of the time of absolutely nothing. The fact is, then you're not actually really doing anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, where is the time? What are you actually working on? That should be the story. Do you know what I mean?
But do you not have a responsibility to control or to guide the way that people see you? Because you could be great.
Yes.
But just because you're great doesn't mean that people are going to see you as great all the time.
Absolutely. But I think that that's where sometimes it's okay to let people know of certain projects or accomplishments from other bodies or something that you've just completed, where you can actually see and measure the results of whatever that was. Because if you turn around and just say, yeah, I'm the greatest, blah, 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 but then you've got nothing to show for it, then you're fabricating. Do you know what I mean? You're telling lies or you're exaggerating. The fact is, you know, Claudia has a magazine, so magazines sell themselves. It tells a story. Do you know what I mean? Like that. She doesn't need to go around and say, oh, guess what, I'm the biggest publishing person or whatever. I'm sure it started small, but at some point it's now made a name for itself. And even for me in this industry, you know, when I first started out, I had to even, you know, I was so cautious about it, because I said, I hope people don't misunderstand my story or my purpose for doing this, you know, because I'm passionate about it and I love to learn things. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm there to be a judge and bring people down. But eventually you do something for so long and people start to recognize you as the person who is the go-to person in the industry or the name, you know, and therefore it's like, okay, I am impacting lives in my small way. I am allowing people to show and build upon their confidence, but not in an arrogant way. You know, they can now turn up to meetings and they can, you know, they have little tools that they can use because they've learned about those things. They know how to network properly. They know how to engage complete strangers. They no longer need to have a best friend follow them to every party or event because they can walk in by themselves, because now they know the law of attraction. They know how to get people to come over to them and vice versa. You see, there's always ways that your story will be told. And yes, in this digital age, it makes sense to make use of that free publicity called Instagram and Facebook and all of those things. But the thing is, you also have to be authentic and you have to be real about the stories and that you're portraying. There's a lot of pressure out there for people to feel like they're lacking. You see somebody doing something so great, then you start to feel so bad about yourself. But most of the time, you know, you don't know the journey that person has gone through. You don't know all the milestones and even the price that they've had to pay to get where they are today. Nobody is ever really an overnight success. It's small, hard work, consistently turning up, showing out, doing what you have to do, and sometimes taking some knockbacks. But each single time you rise up and you come again. And you see, those sorts of things are so much more impressive than somebody walking around with an entourage doing that thing, I'm a very, very important person and you know who I am and all the rest of it. Well, actually, I don't. So what is your purpose? Like, what is it that you're actually doing? I'm so much more impressed by somebody who can tell me about somebody else and say, wow, you see that person sitting there in the corner, as quiet as she is, do you know that what she's doing? Do you know how many lives she's impacted? Do you know, this project that she's working on currently? I've never met somebody so humble in my life. That is so much more impressive, you know, than all the noise.
And I just quickly will add to that. It's okay for you to talk about what you do yourself, and it's okay for you to promote what you're doing yourself. It's the how you do it. So for instance, like yourself, you are a presenter, and if I go on your page, I would love to see what you do and what you love. But if I go in there, what I want to see is not anymore saying that, oh, I was great today hosting this, you know. So it's how you're doing it. But you can post a picture of yourself and said, I had a great interview with these people that impacted this or something. So you said what you're doing, you know, but without you said making it all about yourself. So that's my thing. Like, people who make what they do all about themselves and not about what they're doing, the impact of what you're doing is what I want to see you talk about more than talking about you yourself and how great you are. Because if you're great, it will come through the way you do your work. So then tell me about the impact of the work you're doing. And that's how I believe that you're building your brand. And then you become the go-to person, because then we see all the amazing conversations you're having with great women. And then when it comes to, a host to talk about women, you directly come to you, because we see the impact you're making in the life of other people through the people you're talking to.
I see what you mean. So there's a way to do it.
There is. And it's a skill, you know. some people are just not great at interviewing others. Some people know how to draw out a conversation. You know how to make your guests feel comfortable. You know how to connect with your audiences. All of that is a skill. And no doubt at some point, and if it's not already happened before, we are going to see awards for this kind of hosting, this kind of presenting and things like that. Even if it's not today, it will be tomorrow, but at some point it's going to happen, because it's not everybody that can do this kind of work. It's not easy, so let's look out.
Yeah. Okay, let me take some of our questions, comments. Okay, this one says, what are some of the major challenges that your panelists faced in their determination to climb the corporate ladder so that they can share for our benefits? There are way too many fake people around. I recently employed a lady who over-exaggerated her accomplishments and capabilities, and now after 5 months, I'm very disappointed. Every day I wake up, I beat myself for overpaying her. What should I do? Oh, well, you have a number of employees. Yep. So what would you do if it was you?
I'll say that this is it's been one of my biggest challenges as an entrepreneur over 10 years now, because I'm such a mothering person that my friends used to tell me that, Claudia, you're not a boss if you can't fire fire people. Because I refuse to accept that somebody cannot be good at what they do. So I was giving people like too many, like I'll give you, even if it's 6 months, and I'll keep pushing and I keep telling you how great I think you are. I think bring an input. There's nothing as a stupid, ask me the question, let me guide you, let me go to your meetings, let me mentor you. So I was doing all of that, and the company that has so many people, I found myself doing all the job.
Yeah.
So
I hope you love it, because
I know I used to bring people into my office to try and fire people.
So it was like
fire people from me,
wow.
because I couldn't do it. So I think that we've all been through that challenge, but now I think after over 10 years I've got into that stage that and we've seen it. You see people come to an interview, and especially these young people, like they come in and they talk so much about themselves, and especially a brand like myself, Glitz Africa. People know Glitz to be a premium, so they look at the glitz and the glamour attached to the brand, and they come in expecting like, oh, it's Glitz, and then they quote big amounts of money. And I'm always telling them that, Master, here we are not the celebrities. Like, we are the people running behind the scene. We are the people that nobody see. So if you're willing to be that person that nobody see but make things happen, we're here to make people look good. So if you can be that person, then you're in the right place. But if you're here to be in front of the camera, then you've gone to the wrong place.
I get that.
With that as well, I think that, we can make things easy for ourselves. A person came in to do a job. Before they start the job, you give them their deliverables. There's a job description for a reason. These are the things that are going to be expected of you, weekly, monthly, etc. Then you've got your probation period, and then you can do an appraisal. During that period, if they're not up to scratch, you start to tell them that this is what we're expecting, this is where you are. You need to do this, that, and t'other to improve. We'll give you another 3 months. If you're still not able to, then I'm sorry, that is the end of it. Do you know what I mean? We have this thing in Ghana where it's, I don't want to be responsible for the reason why somebody, loses their job. Sometimes it's not even about sacking them. It's about reassigning them to a different department.
Or sending them back to school.
Or something. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not right for the job. They're occupying a space. You are overly stressed because you're doing your work and somebody else is, but then you're losing money. Do you know what I mean? You can try, extend the probation period for a while, give them some guidance on what they can do better, and if they're still not doing it, then I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to either
Shika, someone wants to know how they can get in touch with you, and if you do any training for young girls from about 13 years
Yes, absolutely. The youth etiquette boot camp that I normally run in the summer months. So yes, actually,
I'm sending my daughter.
Why not? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
She's boyish.
So yes, on my Instagram, you can actually, there's a link to my number directly on there, so you can WhatsApp me directly. Shika_Goka, SIKA_GOKA.
Okay, fantastic. This one says, okay, my warmest regards, Claudia. I respect you for your intelligence, dedication, passion, selfless commitment, excellence. It's from Edmund. So Claudia, that's your shout out.
Thank you.
I think we've run out of time. Okay, so in 30 seconds each, right? My heart is really for the young women who are coming out, those who are so disillusioned about what life is. So you guys are really successful and really beautiful, which is something that sometimes it seems like it has to be either or, but it's not. So just for 30 seconds, from your heart to their ears,
Yeah, I would just say that just be your authentic self. You know, Claudia Lumor may be great in your eyes, but Claudia is done. So why would you want to be another copy of Claudia? Be yourself. You know, learn about what things that